Your intelligence is not your greatest asset. For getting things done, it is your single greatest liability. The very thing you pride yourself on, your ability to think, to analyze, to see all the angles, is the primary reason you are stuck. But here's what neuroscientists have just discovered. This isn't a character flaw, it's a predictable neural loop. And today, I'm not just going to show you this loop. I am going to give you the exact neurological tools to break it. I am going to show you exactly how your powerful brain is tricking you into inaction and how to take back control. We're not talking about motivational quotes or fluffy theories. We are talking about the raw mechanics of your mind. By the end of this video, you will understand why your smart brain defaults to overthinking, and you will have a concrete, science-backed protocol to flip the switch and start executing. Let's begin. That brilliant idea you have, the business you want to launch, the skill you want to learn, the book you want to write, let's follow the journey inside your head. It starts with a flash of excitement, a genuine surge of inspiration. This is your brain's reward system lighting up, a little hit of dopamine that says, yes, this is a great idea. So you open your laptop. You think, I'll just do a little research first. A little research turns into 5 hours. You now have 19 tabs open. You're reading about market demographics, competitor analysis, the top 5 platforms to build your website, and the 7 common mistakes new entrepreneurs make. Your brain, your highly intelligent, pattern-recognizing brain, is in heaven. It's gathering data, connecting dots, simulating futures. This is what it does best. But then, something subtle shifts. The focus moves from, how can I do this, to, how can I do this perfectly? You start seeing all the potential pitfalls. What if I choose the wrong platform? What if the market isn't ready? What if I'm not good enough? Each question, each potential problem your brilliant prefrontal cortex identifies sends a tiny alert signal to a much older, much more primitive part of your brain. Sound familiar? You feel a growing sense of overwhelm. The initial excitement is gone, replaced by a quiet, heavy anxiety. The project that felt so inspiring an hour ago now feels like an enormous, threatening weight. So you close the laptop. You say, I'll think about it more tomorrow. I just need a clearer plan. But tomorrow never comes. This isn't a failure of discipline. It's a cognitive trap. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that individuals with higher working memory capacity, a key component of fluid intelligence, were actually more likely to be distracted by irrelevant information when trying to complete a task. Your brain's incredible ability to hold and process lots of information at once becomes a bug, not a feature. It starts treating every potential problem, every minor detail, as a critical, urgent piece of information. Your brain's processing power gets clogged with what-ifs instead of being directed toward what's next. So you remain in a state of productive procrastination. You're busy, you're thinking, you're researching. It feels like work, but you haven't produced a single thing. You haven't taken a single irreversible step forward. And here's the cliffhanger, the question that changes everything. What if this feeling of being stuck isn't you being lazy, but is actually a specific, fear-based neural response that your intelligence is actively making worse? To understand why your brain gets stuck, you need to understand 2 key players, the CEO and the security guard. Your prefrontal cortex, or PFC, is the CEO. It's the newest, most evolved part of your brain, sitting right behind your forehead. It's responsible for planning, logic, reasoning, and simulating the future. In highly intelligent people, this CEO is like a Silicon Valley visionary. It's incredibly powerful, running thousands of complex scenarios a minute, analyzing data from every conceivable angle. It wants to build the perfect plan, the flawless strategy. But deep inside your brain, in the temporal lobe, you have the amygdala. This is your brain's security guard. It's an ancient, primitive structure, and its only job is to scan for danger. It doesn't understand nuance. It doesn't care about your business plan. It only asks one question over and over. Is this safe or is this a threat? Here's where it all goes wrong. The perfectionism trap. When your brilliant CEO, the PFC, starts planning your project, it doesn't just simulate success. To create the perfect plan, it has to identify and eliminate every single possible failure. So it starts running horror movies. It shows you vivid scenes of you launching your business and failing. It plays a documentary of you trying to learn that new skill and looking stupid. It projects a blockbuster film of you writing that book and getting rejected. And the security guard, your amygdala, is watching these movies, and it cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined threat and a real one. Think about that for a second. To your amygdala, the thought of failing feels exactly the same as actually failing. So what does it do? It pulls the fire alarm. It floods your system with cortisol, the stress hormone. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your focus narrows. This is the classic fight or flight response. Your body is preparing to deal with a predator, but there is no predator. There's just you, your laptop, and your idea. What you call laziness, your brain calls self-protection. Procrastination, in this context, is a neurologically brilliant move. The cortisol feels terrible. It's a state of high alert and anxiety. Your brain desperately wants it to stop, and it learns the fastest way to stop the cortisol flood is to stop thinking about the threatening thing. So you close the tabs, you watch Netflix, you do anything to get away from the project, and boom, instant relief. The cortisol recedes. You have just trained your brain through a powerful negative reinforcement loop that avoiding your goals feels good. It gets worse. The initial idea gave you a little hit of dopamine, but that dopamine is future-focused. It's about a potential reward. The cortisol, however, is about a present moment threat. And in the battle for your brain's attention, the threat signal from the amygdala will win over the reward signal for dopamine almost every single time. It's an evolutionary feature. Avoiding the tiger was always more important than getting the berries. So you get stuck in what I call the analysis paralysis loop. You have an idea, dopamine. You start planning to make it perfect, PFC. Your planning identifies potential failure. PFC simulates threats. Your brain perceives this as a real danger, amygdala hijack. Your system is flooded with stress hormones, cortisol. You avoid the project to feel better. The cycle repeats. Your intelligence becomes the engine of your own anxiety. You are so good at seeing the 10,000 ways things could go wrong that you never take step one. Average brains react. Trained brains choose. Right now, your brain is choosing safety over growth, but we're about to give it a new choice. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Your brain's advanced CEO and its primitive security guard are locked in a dysfunctional feedback loop. It's time to break that loop, not with willpower, but with strategy. These are not productivity hacks. These are neuro-hacks designed to work with your brain's wiring, not against it. Stop. Before you try to tackle the whole project, I want you to do this instead. Technique number 1, the 2-minute activation. Pick the smallest possible action related to your goal. Not write the first chapter, but open a new document and write one sentence. Not build my website, but search for and buy the domain name. Not learn to code, but watch the first 2 minutes of a tutorial. The rule is, it must take less than 120 seconds to complete. Here's the neuroscience of why this works. A 2-minute task is so small, so non-threatening, that it flies completely under the amygdala's radar. It's too insignificant to trigger the fire alarm. There's no cortisol spike because there is no perceived risk of failure. But what it does do is powerful. By simply starting, you begin to shift your brain chemistry. You get a tiny hit of dopamine not from a far-off future goal, but from a present moment action. That dopamine creates a small chemical appetite for more action. It's the principle of momentum, but at a neural level. You are hijacking the reward system to pull you forward instead of letting the threat system hold you back. Technique number 2, strategic threat rehearsal. We are going to use your powerful prefrontal cortex for what it's good at, analysis, but we're going to give it a new, productive job. I want you to take out a piece of paper. On the left side, write down the 10 worst things that could happen if you pursue this project and it fails. Get specific. I'll lose $500. My friends will think I'm a fool. I'll have wasted 3 months. Now, on the right side, for each one of those fears, write down one specific, concrete action you could take to recover or mitigate that outcome. If I lose $500, I can pick up 2 extra shifts at work. If my friends laugh, I'll own it and tell them what I learned. What you are doing here is neurochemically profound. You are moving your PFC out of vague, abstract horror movie mode and into concrete, problem-solving mode. This shift in cognitive function actually sends calming signals to the amygdala. It tells the security guard, "Hey, I see the potential threats, but we have a plan. Stand down." This transforms debilitating anxiety into manageable risk. You are taking the formless monster of fear and giving it a name and a set of instructions. Technique number 3, the 80% protocol. For the next 7 days, on every single task you do, I want you to intentionally aim for 80% quality. Not 100, not 95, 80. Send an email with a small typo. Ship the first draft knowing it's not perfect. Finish the workout even if your form wasn't flawless on the last set. This will feel deeply uncomfortable for your intelligent, perfectionist brain, but what you're doing is a form of exposure therapy for your neural circuits. You are systematically breaking the connection in your brain between action and the need for perfection. Each time you complete a task at 80% and the world doesn't end, you are creating new evidence for your amygdala. You are building a new neural pathway, a new belief that says, action and completion are safe. Imperfection is not a threat. This is neuroplasticity in its purest form. You are literally rewiring your brain to prioritize doing over deliberating. You starve the perfectionism loop of its power, and you feed the action loop with the dopamine of completion. For years, you have likely been telling yourself a story. I'm a procrastinator. I'm lazy. I'm just not disciplined. I want you to see that for what it is, a misdiagnosis. You've been blaming the driver for a problem with the car's engineering. You don't have a character flaw. You have a high-performance brain with a hypersensitive threat detection system. That's it. It's not a moral failing. It's a mechanical issue. And now, you are the mechanic. The identity you held of yourself as someone who gets stuck is no longer accurate. The truth is, you are a person with a brain so powerful at simulating futures that it sometimes simulates threats too effectively. That's a sign of intelligence, not a sign of weakness. From this moment forward, you are no longer someone who reacts to their brain's random firings of fear. You are someone who directs their brain. When you feel that old wave of overwhelm, that urge to procrastinate, you won't see it as me being lazy. You will see it for what it is, a cortisol signal triggered by an amygdala response to a PFC-generated threat simulation. And because you can see the mechanism, you are no longer a victim of it. You can step outside of it and say, "Ah, there's the loop. Time to run a protocol." You can use the 2-minute rule. You can do a threat rehearsal. You can aim for 80%. You are no longer a passenger. You are the pilot. That is the new you. What you just learned is the fundamental difference between understanding your brain and controlling it. This isn't a one-off trick. This is the first lesson in the operating manual you were never given. Subscribe, not because I'm asking you to, but because mastering this manual is the only thing that will unlock your brain's true potential. Clicking that button is your first decisive action. It is a commitment to moving from a person who overthinks to a person who executes. Because what we did today was just about getting started. If you think this is powerful, wait until next week's video. We are going to break down the neuroscience of deep focus, and I will show you why the modern habit of multitasking is physically damaging a crucial part of your brain responsible for filtering out distractions, literally making it harder for you to concentrate in the long run. The choice is yours. Remain a passenger or subscribe and become the pilot.